I am pregnant with baby number 6. I am 24 weeks and I realized that I haven't actually talked about this at all very much. I have mentioned a few things here and there in my decluttering videos and just here and there in my videos, but I thought I'm a mom of 6. My most popular video to date is 15 things, I can't remember exactly, but it's a video all about your must-haves for a newborn. And so I realized a lot of you guys probably came from that video, and it makes sense that I would continue to talk about children and motherhood and pregnancy. So I thought that we would just have a really casual chit chat tonight. I have my glass of water. I decided to film this video right before I go to bed, but basically I thought I would just share with you guys how my pregnancy is going. So how this pregnancy is different to my others, which it has been. It's been extremely different. Give you guys a bit of an update on how baby's been, how I've been feeling. I'm also going to talk about my first trimester and the symptoms that I had, pregnancy symptoms during that time, because in my mind I had this preconceived idea that my pregnancies were always going to be the same because they always have been the same. And I'm sure for a lot of women that is the case. But for me and this pregnancy, that has not been true. It has been a wild ride. So grab yourself a cup of tea and let's get chatting. If you're new here, hi, my name is Marissa. I am 29 years old next Wednesday, so in a few days. And I had my first baby when I was 18 years old. He is now nearly 10 and I have 4 more other kitties who are 5, 4, 3 and nearly 2. And this is baby number 6, currently cooking in my tummy. She is due on the 22nd of November, which makes me 24 weeks. This pregnancy has had some complications. So before I get into that, let me take you back into the first trimester and I will give you guys a quick rundown on how that went for me. So my history of pregnancies have been easy breezy. I have rarely had any symptoms other than being tired in the first trimester and being nauseous with my first. I really had nothing wrong with my pregnancies. I would complain because I hated being pregnant because of the restrictions it gave me in the gym and all of that. Obviously the weight gain for me was hard to deal with as well in the beginning, but I have found that the more I get pregnant, the more comfortable I am gaining weight and going through just the natural sequence of things that happen to your body and just the transitions throughout this time. So I can say confidently now that I'm fully comfortable being pregnant. In fact, may I even say I have been enjoying this pregnancy, which is really weird for me because I've never been the type of person who likes being pregnant. I know that every child and every pregnancy is a blessing and I should be grateful, and I absolutely am. That's why we keep having babies. But it's taken me a while, and I think this is something that the Lord has really sanctified me in and taught me a lot, is to just enjoy the present moment, enjoy the seasons that you go through, because it's not forever. You're not going to be pregnant forever. So just know that if you are someone who is currently pregnant, or maybe you didn't enjoy your pregnancies either, don't feel bad, you're not alone, because I too did not like being pregnant. I have learned a lot of lessons and my mindset has really changed to be a lot more grateful and to just enjoy the pregnancy journey. Going back to the first trimester of this pregnancy, it was really different to all my other pregnancies. So in my first trimester, I kept a running list of everything that was happening to my body and my emotions to share with you guys. So here are some pregnancy symptoms. If you have never been pregnant before and you were trying to get pregnant, these are some things that you can expect. Immediately, I actually began getting a rash on my tummy. It kind of looked like psoriasis or eczema, and it was only on my stomach area, but I started getting a rash and immediately I didn't click because I didn't know I was pregnant at the time, but when I found out I was pregnant, I clicked that that rash was from my hormones changing. And I, at that time, knew it was a girl because I got a similar rash with my other two girls. With Aurelie, I got this rash all over my torso that looked like psoriasis. With my other daughter, Alethea, I also got some like weird skin conditions. And I don't know why my body does that, but for some reason my skin starts playing up when I'm pregnant with girls. I assume it has something to do with estrogen levels, but that's what happened. I got a rash on me. I didn't take any footage of it. I'll try and insert a photo or something if I can, but I got a rash. And that happened within like the first 1 to 2 weeks of conception. I also experienced implantation nausea, and I actually had this with a couple of my other babies. So if you don't know, when the sperm meets the egg, you can actually feel nauseous the next day. And I did experience this with this pregnancy. So if you are trying for a baby and that happens, just, you know, get excited, I guess, because it may be a sign that you are pregnant. My breasts also got super sore. They got really sensitive and tingling, and I've experienced that the entire time. It probably started calming down at 20 weeks, but for the whole first half of this pregnancy, my boobs have been going nuts. They have grown a lot. They tingle all the time. Sometimes my nipples are super sensitive. And I know that's kind of a symptom that a lot of people expect, but I didn't really get that with any of my other kids. With this pregnancy, for whatever reason, it's been really obvious to me. So that is something that I've been struggling with, and it hurts. This symptom, I think everyone expects, but it was really obvious and extreme for me this time around, and that is mood swings. I have been really just up and down with this pregnancy. Today even, I was super angry and just snappy and just nasty to everyone, and I have to keep praying throughout the day to ask for the Spirit to guide me, and I keep repenting because for whatever reason I don't realize how nasty I'm being until after I have spoken or acted out. And it's just been something that I have to really focus on bettering within myself and turning to God and just really asking Him for help through this, because my mood swings have been crazy. Just because your hormones are changing does not give you an excuse to treat people like crap. And unfortunately, that is something that I have really struggled with this pregnancy, that I am being intentional about trying to change and control, because it's no one else's fault. It has nothing to do with anyone. I know it's my hormones, but it's been really hard for me to keep them under control. So mood swings have definitely been a huge one. Those were all symptoms that I experienced basically immediately when I fell pregnant. Now, when it came to 2 weeks post finding out, I think I found out I was pregnant 2 weeks after conception. And then, so I guess this would make me a month pregnant. These are the things that I really started noticing. So I started getting very nauseous. I never spewed though. I have never spewed in any pregnancy. Don't know why, I just get really nauseous. I kid you not, as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I was bloated, like painful bloating. I looked like I was 3 months pregnant, and I kept telling everyone I have a belly, but obviously it would have been bloating, but it was there. That is something I've experienced in multiple pregnancies, but it was really obvious this time around. I also was never hungry. Eating meals, still now I kind of struggle with this, but food is not tempting to me. I am after sugar or things that are like fresh and light and sweet. Meat especially has just not been my thing. It has not been appetizing to me, and in the first trimester, even the smell of meat, specifically chicken, just made me want to spew. It was not a good time. I am getting better now, but in that 2 weeks postpartum, I was not hungry. I just wanted to eat ice cream and chocolate and all of the bad things I should not be eating. I already mentioned that I had tingling nipples, so that continued throughout the following months. And then I also started getting back pain, which I have never experienced again. I don't know why, but I started getting back pain, and I have been getting back pain later on, like in the second trimester too. I do think the reason why is because of the complications. So I will say at around 13 weeks, I woke up with a bleed, and this is the kind of bleed that I have never experienced before. I have had a bit of blood after intercourse in previous pregnancies, but it was never anything like this. Like, this was fresh blood, it was bright, and it was about a couple of tablespoons. So I'm the type of person who doesn't like being dramatic, but my hubby was like, you need to go to the GP or to the emergency and get checked. So I did. I went to the doctors, I told them I was pregnant and that I had a bleed, and that's why I was there. And so they sent me to get blood tests, and sure enough, I was pregnant, but my levels, I can't remember what levels it is, but apparently something in your blood, it gets really high and then it starts dropping. And apparently if it drops a lot, that means that you may not be pregnant anymore. So anyways, they got my bloods done, and I had to get my bloods done again later on for them to compare the results and see if I had lost baby or not, and baby had just not come out. It turns out that I was still pregnant, but that I had a hematoma. So I have, or had I should say, a large subchorionic hematoma. Basically, they can't explain how it happens, but you have a bleed, like a pool of blood that is stuck to the side of your uterus. And what happens is, if that pool of blood gets bigger, the placenta can start pulling off your uterus wall. So they found out I had that bleed, it was large, and I was basically told that there was a 50% chance that I would lose my baby within the next 2 weeks. Praise God, that didn't happen. I remained pregnant and everything was good, but I needed to go back for another check and ultrasound in a month's time. So I went about my life, continued training. I took it easy in the gym, but I was still doing everything that I normally do. When I went back to the ultrasound, the hematoma was still there. So at that point, they put me on bed rest. They said no intercourse, no training, no nothing. You basically need a rest, and we need to keep checking up on you to make sure that this baby is growing and that this hematoma does not get larger, because that would mean that the risk of miscarriage increases. That is what I've been going through, but just this week, praise the Lord, I got my 5th ultrasound, and they basically said that they could not see the hematoma anymore, which is amazing, because that means I can pretty much have a natural vaginal birth. I can continue training again. They did say still no intercourse just in case. But basically everything is looking good, which is really amazing, because at 20 weeks, I started bleeding a lot, but it was old blood. So there was no tissue in it. It was just old blood, and I would bleed every day for about a week. And then when I hit 21 weeks, I woke up and I had a pool of blood in my bed that was fresh blood. It was bright red. I know the difference. I know if it's old blood, it's likely from the hematoma, but this was new blood. And so me and Alex were like, I need to go to the hospital. Anyways, I checked myself into the emergency department. They checked my amniotic fluid because they thought that it may have been leaking, and then that test came back positive. It basically said that my waters were leaking, and therefore I was going to miscarry within the next few days. I had to cry in ED. The nurses hugged me and they admitted me into hospital to keep an eye on me. Again, thank God that night I did not bleed, and so the next day they retested my amniotic fluids, and by some unknown reason it came back negative. So the doctor basically said that it was very unlikely that the test was wrong. She said it was more likely that your sac was leaking, but overnight it had closed itself up. And I can only say that that is because of the prayers of all of my loved ones and our church family. Honestly, if you're watching this and you did pray for me, thank you so, so much, because I truly believe that my womb closed only because of those prayers. I was able to go back home the next day and I started bleeding again, and I was filling pads every night. It would just start gushing out, and throughout the day there would be no bleeding, and every night it was just gushing out. I would fill 2 to 3 pads, just a lot of blood. This happened for 2 weeks straight. I kept going back to the hospital. They kept checking me and checking baby. This whole time baby was absolutely fine, but they were basically saying the only explanation for the blood is from your hematoma. But I was a bit confused because I'm like, that hematoma's been there since like 10 weeks ago. This blood is fresh. So I still don't understand, but basically they were like, we want you to stay in the hospital, but if you want to go home, you can, because we understand you have kids and my husband obviously needs to work for us. So I went back home each time until I felt comfortable knowing that, okay, I am going to bleed. As long as there are no other signs of miscarrying or going into labor, then I'm just going to stay home and watch the bleeding. And then for this past probably 5 days now, there has been very minimal blood, and apparently from my ultrasound that is because the hematoma is now gone. So praise God, everything is good. Baby is growing. She is smaller than my other bubs. My babies have always been in the top 98 to 99 percentiles in their measurements. This baby was in the 31st percentile at 20 weeks, and now she has gone up to the 50th percentile. So I am so happy about that. I am hoping that she is a little baby, because my last bub was 9.3 pounds. He was a very big boy. His head was 39 centimeters. And when I found out I was pregnant with this baby, I cried just thinking about having to push out another baby that big, because that was a struggle. Anyways, that has been my pregnancy so far. I am just really happy that I am able to get back into my normal routine. I went back to the gym for the first time today in I think 2 months, and it felt good. I took it really slow. Sometimes I do get a bit of tightening in my stomach, and if I do that, I will just calm down, stop what I'm doing and relax. But everything is good, and I have a really good feeling about this pregnancy. I think baby girl is going to be absolutely fine. I did find out I am having another girl, so I will have 3 girls, 3 boys, as well as my stepdaughter. So I'm really happy about that. I do think we have come up with a name. If you ask Alex, he probably says no, but I'm pretty sure we agreed on a name. He just doesn't listen. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, everything is looking good, and I am excited for the rest of this pregnancy. So that was a bit of a story time for you guys. If you're still here, let me know in the comments below that you are still watching. But I would love to know, what kind of content do you guys want to see? I really want to film a pregnancy capsule wardrobe video, because I think I have really nailed down my style and how I like to dress and what makes me feel comfortable when I'm pregnant, because I have been the type of person who just walks around the house looking like a bum when I'm pregnant, because I'm like, nothing fits. I look like a fat slob anyway. I feel gross. I don't feel myself. But this time around, I really put in the effort to make sure I feel good every day. And so I would love to film that, but what do you guys think? Do you guys want to see that video? Is there anything else that you guys would like to see? Do you have any questions about pregnancy or birth and labor? I will mention that I have had 5 natural water births. The only thing I've ever used with some of my babies is gas. I don't really like it. I find that sucking on the gas is distracting. I would rather just zone into my body as I'm in labor and just push the baby out that way. I feel like the power of your mind, when you can really focus with no distractions, is better and stronger as a pain relief than gas and stuff like that. But I'm really praying, and if you guys are of the faith, I would love you to pray for me as well, that I am able to have a healthy pregnancy to full term and that baby girl can be born naturally, because the biggest thing that I have been worried about is not being able to give birth naturally. I don't know how I would do it. I have no family around here. I have 4 kids who are 5 and under here with me. I don't think I'd be able to have a C-section. Like, I'd probably be in there like, you can't, like, I'm gonna push this baby out, because I just cannot live not being able to do everything I do on a daily basis. So anyways, I will let you guys go now. I need to go have a shower and cuddle my husband in bed. But thank you so much for watching. Again, tell me what you want to see in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you like watching videos all about motherhood, homemaking, or homeschooling. I make a ton of videos about decluttering. I make cleaning videos. Sometimes there's homeschooling content and obviously motherhood stuff like this as well. So I will see you guys in my next video. Be safe, take care, God bless. Bye.